Well, we used to look up in the sky and wonder at our place in the stars. Now we just look down.
In 2017, an elaborate campaign began, not in the skies, but within the realm of perception. The government's revelation of unidentified aerial phenomena marked the inception of an elaborate psychological operation. Its goal, to manipulate public perception and pave the path to a predetermined future. The operation utilized classic psyop techniques, a mixture of ambiguity, credibility, and intended effects. Believers and skeptics alike were positioned strategically in media to keep the UAP reality tantalizingly out of reach, perpetuating a cycle of debate and uncertainty.
They're doing this report only because it's mandated by Congress.
And yet these technologies were outperforming anything and everything that we have.
Controlled psychological operations involved manipulating both information and misinformation. The aim was not merely to inform, but to shape what the public perceived as credible, using the doctrine of coherence to maintain a consistent yet elusive narrative about UAPs.
There's a serious national security threat, and what the executive branch is going to do about it.
Meanwhile, the bait was switched. The focus subtly shifted from extraterrestrial to aerial threats, not from beyond, but from above. Drones began to fill the skies, introduced as necessities for national security, but intended for much more.
How many drone incursions have we had?
Thousands, in probably over a month.
By 2035, according to government forecasts, drones will dominate the skies, engaged in both protection and suppression. Warfare will no longer be about soldiers on the ground, but about machines in the air, silently watching, and when necessary, striking with lethal precision. As governments lose control, power will fragment. Identity groups will rise, forming their own enclaves, and non-state powers will wield influence once reserved for nations. The landscape of authority will be irrevocably altered, a mosaic of jurisdictions more aligned with ideology than geography. In this new world, anonymity is a myth. Surveillance becomes omnipresent, powered by autonomous technologies that know no boundaries, recognize no traditional laws, and serve the agendas of those who control them. As we debated UFO disclosure, the real architects of our future were laying the groundwork for a world where freedom is overseen by the machines we were distracted into accepting. The greatest operations are those unseen until it is too late. As the skies fill with the drones of tomorrow, remember, they were always part of the plan.
There's a great force behind this now.
Christopher Mellon served as Deputy Assistant Secretary of Defense for Intelligence for Presidents Clinton and George W. Bush.
Like, to me, that's fucking corruption. I'm sorry. And that's just weird to me.
Okay.
As these mechanical sentinels become fixtures of our world, so too does the subtle shift in our own perceptions. Freedom, once the domain of the boundless human spirit, now flutters under the watchful eyes of unyielding guardians. How we navigate this new epoch will define not just our privacy, but our very identity.
What will drones be able to do you think, in 10 years? What will that look like?
You could load a face, and between network surveillance and facial recognition on that drone, find one person and fly into that person's head that fast.
Seriously?
Disclosure, while groundbreaking, was merely the prologue to a profound shift in global dynamics, a harbinger of a future as radical as it is foreboding. scripted in the pages of the Joint Operating Environment 2035. The world teeters on the brink, led there by those celebrated as seekers of truth or branded as rational skeptics. In their hands, the reins of public perception steer us not toward enlightenment, but into the throes of a dystopian nightmare, a future envisioned and desired by the shadowy elite, where society crumbles under the weight of its own misplaced faith. Imagine a 2035 where skies are crisscrossed not by planes, but by drones wielding destructive lasers, where battles are fought not between soldiers, but between machines capable of decisions and destruction. The warfare of tomorrow involves no human soldiers, but autonomous agents, executing strategies devised by distant commanders. What you've heard is a forecast, penned by government experts, laid out in documents that spell a chilling but very real future. We are on a path that has been predicted and planned, a path that leads to a transformed society where conflict and control are the new norms. Hasta la vista, baby.
Look, I mean, you've got to follow the money. Who's building these things, right? They're either building it to dominate market share, so what are you teaching it? Greed. Or you're building it for defensive purposes, so you're teaching it paranoia. I think the weaponization of AI is the biggest danger. I think that we will get into the equivalent of a nuclear arms race with AI. And if we don't build it, the other guys are for sure going to build it. And so then it'll escalate. And you know, you can imagine AI in a combat theater, the whole thing just being fought by the computers at a speed that humans can no longer intercede. You have no ability to de-escalate.
Like, hey, maybe we should have somebody keep an eye on that, you know?
Right, but who? That's the problem.
I don't know.
Your kids probably have one of these, right? Not quite. Hell of a pilot? No. That skill is all AI. It's flying itself. Its processor can react 100 times faster than a human. The stochastic motion is an anti-sniper feature. Just like any mobile device these days, it has cameras and sensors, and just like your phones and social media apps, it does facial recognition. Inside here is 3 grams of shaped explosive. This is how it works. Did you see that? That little bang is enough to penetrate the skull and destroy the contents. They used to say guns don't kill people, people do. Well, people don't. They get emotional, disobey orders, aim high. Let's watch the weapons make the decisions. Now trust me, these were all bad guys. Now that is an airstrike of surgical precision. It's one of a range of products. Trained as a team, they can penetrate buildings, cars, trains, evade people, bullets, pretty much any countermeasure. They cannot be stopped. Now, I said this was big. Why? Because we are thinking big. Watch. A $25 million order now buys this. Enough to kill half a city, the bad half. Nuclear is obsolete. Take out your entire enemy, virtually risk-free.
UC Berkeley professor is the driving force behind a scary new killer robot video that's gone viral. The video is a serious effort by computer scientists to show the danger of autonomous weapons that operate without human control. Many experts say the technology is coming soon, and they are urging the United Nations to take action. Now, let me warn you here, the video is violent and you may find it disturbing.
As the public marveled at the potential realities unveiled by UAP disclosures, a parallel narrative was quietly unfolding, a narrative far removed from the awe of unidentified aerial phenomena. Born amidst this period of intense public focus, Project Maven emerged, not in the limelight, but in the shadows of government corridors. This initiative, recognized internally as pivotal but seen by tech insiders as a harbinger of dystopia, was met with resistance.
Google will reportedly stop analyzing drone footage for the Pentagon once its contract is up next March. Multiple outlets report the tech company has been using AI technology to analyze drone footage for the US military for a program called Project Maven. And Google employees reportedly didn't agree with the company's decision to participate. The tech giant hasn't commented, but a number of outlets report Google employees worry about using AI in warfare, and last month, over 3,000 employees at the company signed an open letter opposing Google's involvement. Gizmodo reports executives within Google saw the contract as a stepping stone to other government work, that the contract wasn't an incredibly valuable one.
Google employees, wary of its implications, rallied under the mantle of ethical technology, sparking a movement that briefly curtailed its progress. Yet, despite their efforts, the project's momentum was merely paused, not stopped.
Why is it that you refer to the phenomenon as non-human intelligence? Why deviate from the basis of extraterrestrial life?
I think the phenomenon is very complex, and I like to leave an open mind analytically to specific origin.
When you say specific origin, are you referring, can you elaborate on that for those that might not?
If it's a traditional extraterrestrial origin or something else that we don't quite understand from either a biological or astrophysics perspective, I just like to keep an open mind on what it could be.
As Congress listened to Davidgrusch detail the enigmatic encounters of UAPs, the nation's collective imagination soared. Yet, beneath this spectacle, Project Maven quietly transitioned into a recognized program of record within the very agency that once employed Grusch. And then, 1 month after his testimony, Maven's counterpart was announced.
We've set a big goal for Replicator: to field attritable autonomous systems at scale of multiple thousands in multiple domains within the next 18 to 24 months.
Replicator's announcement came precisely at the height of the public's fascination in the UAP hearing, suggesting a calculated overlap designed to divert attention. When we delve into the words of disclosure advocate Davidgrusch, the term non-human intelligence resonates with an unsettling depth. Consider the possibility that this phrase, woven into narratives of aerial enigmas, is not meant to describe extraterrestrial entities. What if it is, instead, part of a broader, more covert language designed to prepare us for a future dominated not by visitors from the stars, but by autonomous machines of our own creation? It becomes imperative to challenge not only the veracity of what we see, but also the motives behind what we are being led to embrace. This could indeed be the most critical unidentified phenomenon of our time, a future not written in the stars, but in the secretive annals of power, poised to redefine intelligence and authority. With Maven's establishment as a program of record and the subsequent cessation of UAP disclosures, the curtain fell on one act, only to rise on another, this one less about celestial mysteries and more about terrestrial surveillance. The echoes of disclosure had scarcely faded when those once vocal advocates seemingly reaped their rewards, their sudden opulence a stark backdrop to the silence that had settled over the skies. We are on a path that has been predicted and planned, a path that leads to a transformed society where conflict and control are the new norms. It's time to take this seriously, to look beyond the tales spun from the skies and see the truth laid bare before us. The choices we make today will decide if this forecast becomes our fate. Listen, learn, and act before the pages of prophecy turn into the annals of history. As we venture beyond the horizon, let us not forget that the future is still ours to shape. Perhaps not in the skies above, but in the choices we make here on the ground. But we have so little time. If the night sky tells its tales against the blinking lights of drones and machines in 2035, may we remember the stories of old, when the stars spoke of the infinite possibilities, of the human spirit,